ready for fantasy football. Your draft is just around the corner, and the Armchair Quarterbacks have you covered. It's the Handicappers, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Mock drafts, cheat sheets, sleepers and busts. It's the Armchair Quarterbacks Handicappers on YouTube Live. We'll give you everything you need to dominate your leagues. Watch the Handicappers Saturdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Because getting ready for your fantasy football draft is more important than whatever the hell you're thinking about right now.
It all starts with just one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a holder for combs and brushes in the bathroom, or as a container for plants and homemade candles, in addition to simply being recycled. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Saturday mornings, 8:30 Eastern. Dixie Football Nation is back and better than ever. We've got Tony Agolini, Matt Carr, Tones Areola, Bobby and Angelo, along with Mac McGee this fall. Dixie Football Nation heads to the gridiron, talking ACC, SEC, the Big Ten, and all the big games throughout the college football land. That's Dixie Football Nation, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Saturday mornings on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel, going live. Or catch the instant replay.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
New Year's resolutions. We've all made them. Mine is the same every year. Eat healthier. The eat part usually works out fine. It's the healthier part I forget about. But not anymore, now that I've found the oh-so chocolatey Built Bar. Built Bars are low-cal, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber. Great for keto. Lose or maintain weight while indulging in a yummy treat. At 130 calories, you'll feel like making a resolution every day. Try all 18 amazing flavors. Get yours at BuiltBar.com.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and at all Seattle Elysian locations. Make.
Hey everybody, it's Harry for the Armchair Quarterbacks. Get yourself a cold Budweiser every Saturday morning and join in the fun and watch the neighborhood play. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. They talk about my Cubbies. It's Joey Areola, Christian Pledge. He's a White Sox fan, but we'll give him a pass. Hey, why do they call it White Sox? Their jerseys always look very dirty to me. Sounds like something that could be cancel culture to me. Let's look into that, Cubbies fans. It's the neighborhood play, only on the YouTube channel, Armchair Quarterback Show. Harry Carey, signing off. Seeing double, because I'm ordering triples. Go Cubbies and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Take the scenic route in the new Hyundai Santa Fe, the family SUV with available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you travel way off the beaten path. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Calling all baseball fans. Yankee fans, Red Sox fans, the Tampa Bay Rays. It's the Catbird Seat. Monday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, only on Armchair Quarterbacks Show's YouTube Live. We dive into the American League East, point of views of the fans. Teamus and the Red Sox, Angelo and his New York Yankees, and Florida's own Mac McGee's Tampa Bay Rays. It's the Catbird Seat. Monday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, only on Armchair Quarterbacks Show's YouTube Live. Welcome to the Handicappers. Dive into the world of fantasy football, year-long, and your DFS payouts. True Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, and your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers. Welcome to the Handicappers. Good morning. Welcome to the Handicappers. Mac McGee and Sean O'Toole. Sean, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
I'm fantastic. As we talked about before we jumped on, Braves had a big win last night. Miguel Cabrera did not hit his 500th home run, but it's coming any day now. Luckily, it seems like he might get it at home. And as you can see, I have a fresh 2021 complement of Michigan wear since college football is right around the corner.
I can't see.
Literally.
What does the shirt say?
No, it's just the old Michigan logo. Gotcha. The old Wolverine with the white hat on. I've always liked this logo. Don't see it enough. What
is the white hat about? Is that supposed to be like sailor or something?
No, I haven't done. I have no idea either. I've never done research on it. I've always wondered why the Wolverine looks so jovial with a little white, teacup hat on. When if you've ever, you won't find many oceanariums or outside places that have one because there just, quite frankly, aren't many of them left. They're almost extinct. Wolverines are not exactly pleasant animals. They're basically like oversized trash pandas. I mean, they're just basically big steroided out raccoons for the most part. So
they fit right in with the Big Ten. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Big steroided out raccoons. Yeah, it goes perfect.
Real quick, we're about to start a fantasy football draft. I needed to check on it real quick. What do you got going on in the world of fantasy baseball today before we dive into this?
Yeah, you and I talked about this offline, and I really wanted to do a deep dive on the metrics behind it. So I'll be quick. And I just wanted to mention something about Mr. Joseph Votto, who is 37 years old. After his past two seasons, I think people were under the opinion that the bloom was completely off the rose. First basemen don't age gracefully, as we've seen with Albert Pujols. And just going and looking at his numbers, I knew that he had a bad start to the season and he's been picking it up lately, but I really didn't realize to the extremes by which he had struggled early in the year. So this is his slash line on June the 8th, a 222 average with a 311 on base and a 417 slugging, which is like below. I mean, that's in the bottom 5 percentile of the league for starting first baseman. He did have a stint on the COVID list, earlier in the year. He missed 2 weeks for that. And I believe did test positive. I don't think it was just one of those contact tracing things. Here are his present numbers: a 285 average, a 375 on base, and a 585 slugging. In the month of July, just in the month of July, not to mention what he's done in the last several weeks where he seems to hit a homer or multiple homers in the case of Will Smith and the Braves every single day. In the month of July, he hit 319 with a 440 on base, a 734 slugging, and an 1174 OPS, which is, just for reference, in the top 5 percentile of the league. So this is a guy that I went back to check just to make sure was on waivers or available in over 50% of leagues at the All-Star break. People were like, it's over, it's done. He is now over 80% rostered. I'm surprised he's not higher, but first base is a relatively, deep position where you can get a lot of value. And there's a lot of guys that have first base positional eligibility. I just can't believe the only thing that I can see that's really changed in the advanced metrics is his approach. He has been swinging at pitches out of the zone, particularly sliders low and away, for most of the last 2 years. People have started to be able to fool him more now than they were in his prime with low and away sliders and high inside fastballs. He's now basically just laying off of those pitches and daring umps to ring him up. And occasionally they do, but he's forcing pitchers to put pitches in the zone that he's comfortable with. He's always been a very good down and in hitter. He's always been a very good hitter away and taking the ball away. And his hard hit rate on pitches in the zone is about 88%, which is pretty nuts and elite hard hit rate for pitches that are in what we would call the meaty part of the zone. So I just wanted to ask you and kind of give everybody a heads up. If you were smart enough to jump on this guy when he started to get a little bit hot, you probably can't find him right now in your league unless it's a very deep league or you've just got a ton of first basemen. I can't think of a single player at this age who's flipped the switch this extremely in the middle of the season. How about you?
Barry Bonds. There needs to be an
well, that's it. Yeah, okay.
Let's see what's going on here. There needs to be an investigation. I have him in our rotisserie league. The only league I picked him up in, mainly because I have Freddie Freeman in so many leagues as a first baseman, and I've got other guys that can play first base. There were a couple leagues I was really wanting to pick him up. I was like, man, if I do that, he ends up being fool's gold. I'm gonna have to drop someone really good, and I'm not doing that when I'm sitting in first place in a league. You know what I mean?
Fair.
You start chasing your tail. The next thing you know, you're like, dude, I'm averaging like half the points I averaged 6 weeks ago because I got fancy. So that's always my concern, is that I do too much after I've already gotten in, right? So, but
very much so.
Do you have him in any of these leagues?
No, I don't. I'm only playing in the two leagues that we do, the yearly and then the rotisserie dynasty league, and then I have that $100 league I'm in with Trosh, and I don't have him in any of them. But I remember,
and honestly,
very vividly when he was on waivers. I mean, he was not a player. There were pieces about him. I think Eric Carabell wrote a big one on ESPN, just basically saying like that, time is up, it's over. And a couple, 3 to 6 weeks later, he's got an 1174 OPS. It's like, wow.
I don't know if you were on the show that morning because it runs together for me, but I know that one of the mornings that I always do the intro on the Wake Up Y'all, our weekday morning show. For those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, we do a weekday morning show on YouTube Live as well, and I always do an intro with right before you get your sports news for the morning. There's always like a funny that I pull down. Usually it's from TikTok, and I that's probably where I grab it. Gotta mute that crap. But anyways, long story short, it hasn't been that long ago. There was a video that I opened the show with. It was right before he started getting super hot, and he's on the on deck circle. Were you on this morning that I played this?
I don't think so.
Okay, I really wish I would have kept it. But anyways, there was a heckler on the front row, and he goes, "Hey, Joey," and finally he turns around. And he goes, "I remember when you were good." And Joey Votto looks at him and goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I remember when you were thin." And I'm pretty sure that was the entire video. There might have been something else, but that's what I remember of it. And I just died laughing. I was like, that's about the funniest damn thing I've ever heard. What a great comeback. Of course, you couldn't see the guy, but I'm assuming the guy was portly feller. So that was funny. So I was like, who the hell says that to a guy who could, look, he's making this late charge. Now you could really start making an argument for him for the Hall of Fame if he continues this the next few years. There was about 3 or 4 years ago where he was having a steep decline, and then he started coming back, and he was so focused on his on base percentage, his power went away. Well, that ain't the case.
Yep.
All right.
Nope.
Who did you pick? I talked too long. What's up?
I took Derrick Henry. I mean, I had the third pick. The first two were, pretty chalk. McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. So I kind of had to choose between Derrick Henry or did I want to take possibly, somebody further down that I'm a little bit higher on. I did hover over Nick Chubb for several seconds because I really do like him. But I mean, come on, it's Henry's done this too many years now for me to start getting duped.
All right, so now it's my pick at the bottom. I got the 9th pick. I've got to get my running back. I don't want to get stuck with a question mark like Jonathan Taylor as my first running back taken, so I am going to grab Aaron Jones. It's a solid pick. The guy's like he's on a list of him and Jim Brown of what he's done in his first 4 years in the league. I'll take my bets with anyone who's in the same room as Jim Brown. So
that seems reasonable.
So it's going to come back to me, and now it's like, okay, I'm more likely to grab whoever I think the best player is available. And I haven't done this in any other draft, so I'm going to go ahead and do it just to flip the switch a little bit. I'm going to see what my team looks like if I grab the best tight end, being Travis Kelce. And so I'll have Aaron Jones and Travis Kelce to start my way, and then your team, flash it over. I want to get this. Okay, here we go. You got Derrick Henry, and you're coming back up here. His team is Sean right here. So he's got about 3 or 4 picks. What are you thinking right now as the players start to vanish?
Yeah, I'm thinking that second running back is really important because you're starting, you're going to see the top of the wide receiver class start to thin out, but I should have an opportunity to still get someone that maybe is in that 1B class or the 2A class.
Right.
So it's really a decision between, if it goes chalk, and I don't have any reason to expect that it would, but if it goes chalk and just in row with the X rank, I'm probably going to have my choice between Antonio Gibson, Justin Jefferson, and AJ Brown if none of them go. And woo, that's a decision. Really, really high on Gibson. Really high on Gibson. I don't know that I can buy Washington football team decor fast enough this year. Just because I really think they're the best team in that division. I don't think it's particularly close. So I'm going to take Gibson.
Okay.
Again, really loved him at Memphis. Loved what I saw last year, and they really didn't put him in the passing game last year just because Alex Smith was under center.
Right. So this gives Sean Derrick Henry and Antonio Gibson. He's going to pick again here in a second. I'm just trying to flip back and forth so people can see why we're doing what we're doing. Right now, I have Aaron Jones and Travis Kelce. Kind of a gamble, but I haven't done a tight end this early. In fact, the earliest I've drafted any tight end in any of our mock drafts, I believe, is around the 5th or 6th round. I just don't believe in it. Typically, I would not go Travis Kelce. Typically, I would say, you know what, let someone else waste their 2nd round pick on him, and I will go somewhere else. But I just wanted to see what the team might look like. I might go a little off the board today. It being a 9-man draft, and 10-man draft. I've got the 9th pick. Your pick is right now. Where are you going?
Well, I need a wide receiver. Again, that's the position of winning in all fantasy football leagues is pretty much the skill positions. So I'm going to take what I think is the best wide receiver available, although he's not ranked as the best wide receiver available, the ones currently in front of me. And I'm going to take Mr. CeeDee Lamb, who I think is actually the default number 1 receiver in that offense. I don't think it's Cooper, despite what you might read.
It will be interesting this year because, first of all,
everybody's going to be healthy, allegedly.
Dak Prescott better play. That's number 1. And then
that's number 1.
If he does play, does he go back to his old hat at Cooper, or does the youth and explosiveness of CeeDee Lamb take control? So yeah, I'm really on the fence about that one way or the other. One of the reasons why I would never take a tight end typically as early as I did, George Kittle's still hanging around there, right?
Yep.
He's not that big of a drop off. And then you've got many other tight ends, the Kyle Pitts of the world. And I think I'm forgetting. So who the hell am I forgetting? There's a
Darren Waller.
Waller. I think he might already be gone because I do not see him on the board. So he must.
Yeah, somebody snaked him.
All right,
just now actually.
So I'm going to go ahead and double up my team, and this is assuming that it's a 6-point leaguer, and I'm going to have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I also have Aaron Jones, and the reason why I'm doing that is if I'm going to have Kelce, I kind of want to have Mahomes. That way, when when Kelsey does score, it's a double dinger on you. I'm obviously not going to have Hill in this situation, but now it's going to come back to me, and I've got to get a running back stat. I'm more worried about that than I am worried about getting a receiver. There's a lot of depth at wide receivers, and the best running back on the board available right now, I want to double check, is I believe it's David Montgomery of Chicago. I am intrigued by Henderson. I'm really intrigued about Swift. And after that, I believe it's a big drop off. Don't try to sell me a bill of goods on Miles Sanders. So I'm going to go with David Montgomery here. And that means that my team will look like, let me just click on it real quick. My team looks like this: Mahomes, Jones, Montgomery, and Kelsey. And then Sean is coming up here in a second. And he is Lamb, Henry, Gibson. He's about to make his fourth pick. So you've got your two backs. You've got your receiver. Where are you looking now?
Yeah,
what do you hope falls to you right now as we're looking at the board?
I'm hoping Keenan Allen stays there. I mean, that's insane. He's a year over year very productive player. Someone I've had several times, and I've never been disappointed by having him. Again, I made the comment to Trosh, I think, when we did this last week or the week before, that his stats can be misleading because his games played is higher. He's just a big physical guy. He got me a couple times last year coming out of the game in the second quarter with like a hamstring thing, right? And that does count as a game played because, I mean, he was there when the ball was snapped on offense for the first time. So he's an interesting one. Oh, he just got taken. Okay, so that changes the calculus. I got 3 Rams players staring me in the face, or I can jump a little bit ahead and get someone further down the board. I'm not going to be too cute about this. I'm just going to take Cooper Kupp. The injury history scares me a little bit, but if you look back at Stafford's history throwing to slot receivers, it's insane. He's never had no slot receiver that's played more than 10 games has ever had less than 70 receptions.
I just noticed, so I do this a lot. I'll go into a auction drafts and I'll do these. I'll keep up with the teams, but this one this morning, like, it's not for money or anything. And I'm noticing we still got a slot open in there. We're drafting in like less than an hour. I'm like, what the hell?
Ruh-roh.
Get on it, algorithm. So if anyone's watching and wants to jump in that one and have fun this morning, let me know. I've got the Yahoo public ID in front of me.
So now I'm going to take a risk. I've got, my starting 4 skill position players, and now I want to grab a tight end, and you've heard me talk about this guy, so I'm just going to go get him. Kyle Pitts. Give me all that Pitts stock.
So you don't think that's a bit of a reach in the 5th round?
Nope.
All right.
Not really, because if you're looking at tight ends, it's between him and TJ Hawkinson, and love Hawk, though I do. And I think he's going to be great in PPRs. I don't think he's going to get a lot of yards. He's not a down the field runner. He's had a few injury problems, and that last night was exactly what I expected out of Jared Goff. We'll just put it like that. He was 7 of 9 for 56 yards. Like his average, his average completion is going to be about 8 yards. So if you're in a PPR, Hawk might be a better tight end. I'm just betting on that upside with Pitts, and I think they're going to have to throw to him a lot.
All right, so my receiver is going to be struggling, but with that, I got to take into accountability the fact that I'm going to get more points off my tight end than most teams will each week. So it's like I've got a wide receiver 1 already, and right. What I'm looking for now is for depth in my receiving courses, because if you're going to go this route and you still want a good running back crew, which I think I have in Jones and Montgomery. It's about to hit me. I've got Mahomes, Jones, and Montgomery, so my backfield set. And then I've got Kelsey's my tight end. I'm looking for the best receiver available unless something really jumped out at me. And of all these guys, but look, this dude is hurt already. I mean, what the hell is going on here? So I'm going to take a flyer on Travis Etienne and put him in my flex. And when it comes back around, there's so many receivers that I can pick from that I will definitely be headhunting as a receiver now. So I'm going to click directly on receivers because I can be a running back horse sometimes, so I don't even want to see him in my line of view, right? I want to just they'll go, ooh, that guy's still there. Next thing you know, I have like 9 running backs. I don't have a single wide receiver, and it's everyone else is drafting their their defenses, and I'm over here on I wonder who's the slot receiver for the Jets this year. Okay, so it falls to me. I may have taken a flyer on Julio Jones, but I didn't really have him circled. I'm going to go with Adam Thielen. I think Adam Thielen come back. He's going to be healthy this year, and
I think he's undervalued.
Well, they're going to be throwing the ball. That defense stinks, and they're going to try like hell to work in the running game with Cook, but Cook's not your typical running back. He can also catch out of the backfield, and when you run the ball with Cook, you're almost dialing up a passing play. So I think there's going to be a lot of balls going. I also think defenses this year are going to focus on Justin Jefferson. I don't think they're going to focus on Thielen, and he's still the drink of choice for Mr. Cousins near the end zone.
He's going to get double teamed this year more than he ever got double teamed last year. There's no doubt about that.
There's no Kyle Rudolph to come in here and ruin the party for the big three of the Vikings. So and you're just hoping Irv Smith does not end up doing anything, because I'm not going to end up with him on one of my teams. I'm not buying.
It's back to me. I'm going to take Jamar Chase. I'm seeing a lot of things that I like. I'm a little worried about Burrow seeming to have kind of a shaky time on the knee, but I actually think that fortifies my point that he's going to lean on players that he's familiar with and trusts. And he didn't have a lot of time with Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins last year. I mean, I know he started most of the year, but you're talking about a full 6 months, 7 months now that he hasn't been upright. I think Chase is going to come in and immediately be a gadget guy. They're going to do bubble screens. They're going to do slants to him. And he's just got that breakaway speed, man.
All right. So, by the way, did you watch any preseason last night, or is that just not your thing to do?
It's usually not my thing. I did want to watch the first couple series of the Lions-Bills game, so I did. Swift wasn't playing. He had kind of a hamstring thing that popped up in camp, so they were just safe and kept him out. I really, really liked what I saw.
What about Goff? Did Goff play? Because I haven't watched that game yet.
Goff played the first 3 series. His rapport was the best with the rookie out of USC, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who looked really good. I mean, he went up in traffic and made about a 20-yard catch that was really impressive. But it's kind of what I expected out of Goff. It was a lot of, 1 read, 2 read. Okay, I don't see it. Dump it off for 3 yards. And it's a lot of – that's who he is. And that's fine, because I don't think we're going to be very good. But
hey, let me throw something out at you, because Brian just chimed in talking about Will Fuller being such a wild card. What do you think about Fuller this year?
Fuller is such a curious cat for me, because I've had him and he's pointed big time for me. But the
only way I'm going to jump on Fuller in like some kind of madness is if the one thing happens that I think should happen. Tua gets traded to the Dolphins for Deshaun Watson. And then I'm like, let's go.
Texans. Yeah.
Let's go. What the hell did I say?
You said to the Dolphins. He's already on the Dolphins.
Sorry.
I knew what you.
From the Dolphins to the Texans. And if that happens,
man, that's
like, let's go. And if I'm the Dolphins, I do it. I do it in a heartbeat. I go, look, you're gonna suck this year, maybe for a little bit. We're gonna find a way to score without you. And when you come back from whatever suspension that you're most likely going to get, we're going to be a Super Bowl favorite in 2022.
And I don't want to be this guy. I'm not trying to do any outside the line stuff here or be Nina Kimes. Are we sure he's getting suspended? Because I'm not sure he's getting suspended.
I do.
I'm not sure he's getting suspended at all.
I'm going to Odell Beckham. We'll bet a soda pop on that. How about that? Okay. Odell Beckham Jr. I'm taking him. I'm taking him because there's not a lot of great receivers left, and I kind of scrooged around. But now, like I said, I'm going to go for depth, because I've got 3 solid running backs in ETN, Jones, and Montgomery. I now have a couple of wide receivers, and I'm looking now for the flex. I'm looking for the best play on the flex as it's about to hit me again. And as of right now, it's kind of a crapshoot. And damn it, this dude just took James Robinson, because that was going to be my pick so that I had my bases covered, right? But okay, he screws me, so I got to go back out here on the wire and see I'm not in love with any of those receivers, but the one I'll take a flyer on is Tyler Boyd, because I believe that over Juju Smith-Schuster, who's got too many people feeding Claypool, too many guys who want the ball there. I am more of in favor of Tyler Boyd, because rookie receivers do tend to struggle, and Tyler Boyd's going to be on the other side going, I'm open. So, I'll take a chance on him. And that gives
a point.
Now, granted, receivers are a lot easier to find on the waiver wire during the season.
Yes, they are.
Than running backs. And that's one of the reasons why when I went the route of grabbing Mahomes and Kelsey, I typically would not do this. So I'm not endorsing what I did. I'm just saying I wanted to see what it would look like. But but if I'm going to do that, and I'll probably have a team where I do something like this, because I don't want every one of my teams to look the same, because one injury and crapola the whole season shot to hell. So I'm gonna make my moves. And when I did that, I knew the thing that I was gonna have to do is make damn sure I'm solid at running back, and then just find the best value you can at receivers down the stretch. Now, this isn't a real league, so honestly, what's going to happen throughout the year is I'm going to be looking at, in a real league, I'd be looking at, okay, what receivers are hot? Let's pick them up. Let's get aggressive. But in this, you're just like, well, it is what it is. And this, I don't even care about this 5 minutes after it closes. But but I'm going to be drafting the rest of the way like this is a real league. And what would you do? And here's another guy that just went that I would have taken a flyer on just because of the upside when he comes back, is because of my crappy receiving situation. I would take a flyer on Michael Thomas. And now the guy might have reached on him a little bit in the 8th round. I think he's more of a late round flyer for me, but I would have taken a risk on him.
It's a foot injury, right? It's like he's got like a busted foot or a broken foot that he needs to get surgery on.
No, he finally got surgery in June, and Sean Payton was raising hell saying, dude, we should have had this thing done in January when we knew it was an issue. And the general manager was like, well, we thought it would fix itself. And Payton's back there going, it didn't fix itself from week 2 of the season on. Why the hell is it going to fix itself now? So it's
a broken foot.
Right. That's the reason why, he's a receiver. He might need to run every once in a while. But that's the reason why Peyton was raising hell. And I think when it first came out, people thought that he was throwing Michael Thomas under the bus, and that's why Michael Thomas got his feathers ruffled. It wasn't. You could I could read the tea leaves. ESPN ran with it and did their hyperbole like they always do. But I could read the tea leaves and go, he's talking about the damn general manager, because the general manager was involved in this decision. Sean Payton wasn't.
Right.
And that's what he's pissed about. Right. That's what he's like, look, dude, we're going to wait, because I guess the first window of opportunity to actually have the surgery was second week of February was the report. And they said, no, we're going to wait till the second week of June. And he goes, what the hell? Are we trying to win? Drew Brees retires. I think Michael Thomas retires. Hell, I'll retire. I got Jameis Winston as my quarterback. Oh, don't worry. Taysom Hill's going to be the backup. Yeah.
That sounds terrifying.
By the way, and all this is going on, and I'm pounding the desk, and I'll do it until it doesn't happen. Jacksonville Jaguars, this is your opportunity to go get Michael Thomas in a trade. This is it, baby.
For what though? Minshew
you can give up a little capital. I don't even know if they want Minshew. But what about DJ Chark? What about DJ Chark? Take a chance on him, and then you would obviously have to give him a pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and get me some depth in my running backs. And I ain't trusting Damian Harris because he's a Patriot. And I'm not trusting Melvin Gordon because, well, he's got a rookie that couldn't take his job. And Fournette, forget about it. They're going to hold on to him. I'm going to take a chance and say David Johnson still does David Johnson things this year for the Texans and is solid. I ain't expecting the moon and stars, but he's solid. I'm going to get another pick here in a second, and I got to go receiver. So I'm going to look at the best receivers available. And I've got a couple. I mean, I can't believe he's still here because I was just, slamming him two rounds ago. So if he falls, I might take a chance on him. No way in hell I'm taking Brandon Cooks. Dude, Brandon Cooks, I don't care what he does. He's not doing it this year. We don't even know who's going to play quarterback. So, and he's now definitely getting triple teamed. If anyone's going to triple team anyone, it's going to be like, well, we don't even know how to pronounce half the other receivers' names. Brandon Cooks, it's going to be like that damn video I had the other day. All right, so it falls to me. Juju or DJ Chark. I'm on the fence on who I think might have a better season. But look, Juju has kind of turned into their sticks mover. So what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like DJ Chark quit on the team last year. Everything that we read and we felt here in Jacksonville, he felt like he quit. So I don't know what his situation will be this year, but and I'll tell you one thing.
Tenuous.
I ain't doing that guy. He's going way too high. Why is he being drafted, Sean, over Will Fuller, even Michael Gallup, but Mike Williams, Devontae Smith, Jarvis Lynch? I would take Marvin Jones. I would take any of these guys over Antonio Brown. There's only one football in Tampa.
Yep.
And he's not Antonio Brown of 2018.
No. He hasn't been Antonio Brown. He hasn't been real Antonio Brown like Pittsburgh Antonio Brown for a while. We're coming up on 4 years since his last year in Pittsburgh. Am I right about that, or am I wrong? I mean, again, COVID's messing up my calendar brain, but
Brian says Tyler Boyd is the GOAT.
The GOAT of what?
He's also talking about Curtis Samuel, huge sleeper in Washington. Now he's on the PUP list. What the hell's up with that? How long is he out?
COVID.
Oh,
it's COVID. It's not. Yeah.
Why don't they just put COVID on there? PUP. PUP makes you think, oh no, he snapped his neck. He's dead. Let's not draft him. I thought
so. It's back to it's up to me, and I want your opinion on this guy being a Bucs fan. I'm not believing that the Fournette bounce in the playoffs was real. I think he's still fool's gold. I'm taking Rojo. I think Aaron's loves Rojo, and I thought he trusted him more and more as the season went along. He had some fumble problems early in the year, but late in the year, dude, I mean, especially that first Green Bay game during the regular season, he ripped them apart.
The way I feel about it is this: Leonard Fournette is going to be their guy in the playoffs, but they're not trying to wear him down. And it's almost, look, you've got to look at the Buccaneers the way you look at the Patriots. You really do. You can have all this talent on the field, but Brady's worried about January, right?
Yep.
And so I don't look, we've said it before. We'll say it again. If you got two running backs, you don't have any. I don't want either one of them realistically, but a gun to my head during the regular season, I would take a chance on Rojo and see where it went. But as it gets colder, if I drafted Rojo, this is what I would do. I would be setting him up to sell as high as I could possibly sell him. Because I believe that when it turns a little colder and the Buccaneers get ready for January football, the guy they want, because he runs with an attitude, is Fournette. But you don't want to put all those miles on some old sturdy tires when you don't need to, right?
Nope.
You're gonna drive around town in the speedy sports car, but when it's time to actually move the hay, we're gonna go get that old Ford pickup truck and let's roll. But I'm going to the club that night in my Ferrari. So it's coming back. Oh, go ahead.
I took Chenault a couple picks ago. A little reporting I had seen out of Jags camp was that, first of all, I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but the reporting by even national reporters who've seen Lawrence in camp is like, holy crap. Like he is the genuine, like, people who were skeptical going into the draft are like, have seen him in person now and are like, oh my God, like he's legit, man. 16 is no joke. And
right.
I like Chenault in that offense.
So it falls back to me, and this is assuming that this is a real year and whatnot. I'm going to take my chance on a Will Fuller. He might be the most talented guy there. Now, he's not starting on my team, obviously. He's the third receiver sitting on my bench.
Is he out the first 4 weeks or the first 6 weeks? I can't remember.
I think it's just week 1.
Oh, is it just week 1? Oh, wow.
Because
I didn't realize that.
I believe it was a 2. Let me put it this way. He's already done a part of his suspension. And right. I'm pretty sure if he has more than 2 weeks, I'd be surprised.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because he's already done half his suspension. So he's already missed 2 games and has 2 to give, or he's
right.
1 and has 1 to give. I forget because it's been so long ago, but it's not as long as it looks.
Okay. I got you.
Now
I was off on that.
Now James Conner is kicking COVID over here. I don't know, man. He looked worn down. And then Zach Moss, he broke his spine or something the other day. So I don't know if I want to play around with him. So you know what? He's still hanging around there. What the hell? We'll go ahead and do some PJ Chark. So we got Chark as our 4th receiver off the bench. That's just what that does right now. If you look at my team real quick, because you've got a few before you come up. I've got Mahomes, I've got Thielen and OBJ. These are my 2 main running backs, Jones and Montgomery. I'm gonna take a chance on ETN, and I do have David Johnson. But realistically, I don't have to do a running back for flex. These receivers, I would play the matchup game all year long. I'd say, well, who's got the best matchup? All right, let's put him in. When you don't have like an automatic guy, I'd say most weeks Thielen no matter what. But I could see in a week where it's favorable, where I'm going Boyd and I'm going Fuller because he's caught fire, and hell, either one of these guys may not even be sitting on the field because of whatever the hell is going on. You know, what if Kirk Cousins goes back there and jams his knee into the turf, and you're like, well, is Joe Webb still playing quarterback? Who the hell's their backup? And I'm like, Thielen, you're gonna be sitting for this week, baby. But
right, or if Cousins starts walking around licking doorknobs and gets COVID plus,
right,
he's out for 12 weeks.
Or the Jags are playing a team that might turn into a boat race both ways, where they're playing. Then I could always throw ETN and Chark in there, expecting some kind of a light show, right? Which, by the way, speaking of Brian, they play the Bengals in week 4. I could see that Cincinnati Jacksonville game being high scoring, and you want both of them in there. Now, I'm not saying you're benching really good wide receivers over them, but I don't have that because I went the other direction. As opposed to talent, I went with the other way. Oh, it's really easy to pick the best guy available. I'm going to do a deep dive. Let's see what Marquise Brown's up to. Man, this guy, I don't care where he's being drafted. He's being drafted too high. I'm just going to tell you, man. You're going to get 2 games. You're like, dude, what a beast. And you're going to get 15. You're saying, did he suit up? Like, what the hell is he? That dude's not built for the Baltimore offense. That is not the guy you send out to block anybody.
Nope.
All right, so let's look at your team because you're coming up here. And you've got Herbert, Lamb, Kupp, Henry, Gibson, Pitts, Chase. And then you got Trey Sermon. I know you're big on him. You're taking a flyer on Galladay, mainly because he's the number 1 receiver in New York, and they're going to suck. So there's going to be balls.
Somebody's going to catch something.
Right. They're either catching balls or COVID in New York.
Exactly.
Rojo gives you depth. Like I said, man, Chenault, I think he's phenomenally talented. I like the Devontae Smith pick late. I know he's banged up a little bit, but hell, he's a flyer anyways. And then you went and got Trevor Lawrence as some depth. Where are you going? Well, I guess you just made your pick. I guess I rattled on through there.
No, yeah, my last pick was Lawrence. And that's really just an upside play. I mean, I'm not counting on if he doesn't pan out by the time Herbert's bye week comes around. If this was a league we were really playing in for money, I would know, and I would just stream somebody, who has a favorable matchup, because you can do that a lot easier with quarterbacks. and tight ends and sometimes wide receivers than you certainly can with running backs.
My boy's available.
Oh,
no, thank you. All right, so I've got Mahomes, and I've got to look at the bye week. And basically, what I'm going is I'm gonna grab this dude just because he could have a hell of a year. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and grab a Fitzmagic over here. He's a guy that if the one thing that I know is if Mahomes were to get hurt, I could rely on him to put up a steady. He's not going to go out there and throw like 110 yards, 4 picks. You're like, oh, what have I done? So he's not going to be Mahomes, but hell, there's weeks we've seen it, Sean. There's weeks where that dude explodes. So
yep.
It's going to rattle back down to me. So it'll be time for me to take a defense. And the ones that I'm seeing here, I think Cleveland's defense is being a little undervalued. Buffalo's is overvalued as hell, especially if you look at the points allowed. Look, I don't give a damn. Buffalo's defense was trash in the playoffs. I'm not.
Buffalo's defense is hilariously overrated. Hilariously overrated.
This defense is intriguing to me, but there's still some ones that are a little better that are going to be available. So I'm going to see what falls to me. Denver's intriguing. New England's got a solid defense.
And they just spent $130 million on it this offseason, so it better be good.
Right. And when
Belichick's going to be raging.
When in doubt, give me Belichick is the reason why I do this. So all I'll have left is a kicker. And so we'll worry about that when that comes back around. You, on the other hand, are about to draft. And
defense and kicker. Same for me.
So you're going back to defense. So let's look at the defenses. What are you thinking right now, assuming it falls to you, which probably, because all these teams getting auto draft, I guarantee they've already got a defense.
Yep. The one that's on the board that's really interesting to me is Cleveland, who played. I don't think their point prevention was indicative of how good the defense was last year. But you've got Ward in the back end. You've got, Garrett and Clowney up front to provide pressure. They just picked up. Oh no, that was Pittsburgh. Sorry, Pittsburgh picked up Joe Schobert from Jacksonville. But I don't know. I just like the fact that I know they have a first place schedule, or at least a second place schedule. I can't remember if they had won the division last year or not. I think actually Baltimore did, if I'm thinking about it now. And they have some favorable matchups. I don't know that Cincinnati's going to be much better. And you and I have talked about it, but I actually think Baltimore is going to struggle this year. I think they're going to take a huge step backwards compared to what most people think of them.
And so it's going to come back to you and
kickers.
Yeah.
Which is there's no, can we just take kickers out of fantasy? I did want to ask you one question really quick, because I heard this mentioned on a podcast and I hadn't even thought about it. There's now 17 games and an 18-week season. What's your opinion on, because there are a couple teams that have a week 14 bye week. What's your opinion on sliding the playoffs and doing like a 2-week playoff that's week 16 and 17 or something? I had heard somebody mention this on a podcast, because they're like, hey, if you keep your playoffs the same as last year, someone's going to get hosed in week 14 if that's still the first week of your playoffs and they have guys on
whatever podcast you're listening to, hit the trash emoji and don't listen to them again, because they obviously haven't done their homework and they're idiots. The playoffs this year are weeks 15, 16, and 17 on all formats. They've already updated that.
Gotcha.
So they don't know what the hell they're. I don't know if you're like eavesdropping over the fence from your neighbors or something, but just quit doing it, because that guy's going to give you really bad advice. I wish Yahoo had the ability to give you 2-week playoffs like ESPN does.
Mm-hmm.
But the trade-off is you have to be with ESPN, and their app is terrible. Their website is terrible you would think the worldwide leader in sports would have this great fantasy. I mean, hell, they always have like a marathon, and they are just terrible. I'm going to end up taking Blankenship just because kickers don't matter, and he's in a dome. So what the hell? Why not? If he's gone, yeah, there we go. All right, so we'll go ahead and get out of this. Well, before we do that, really, really quick, Sean's team, real quick. We don't have time to go over it because we're going to jump off of here, but a pretty solid team. I think you got good depth at wide receiver. The only thing I would be concerned about is the top end of your wide receivers, but that's really just a preference thing. I've been burned by Cooper Kupp, so I'm leery about him. But he's got a new quarterback, so all bets are off. And as far as my team, obviously the one thing that I did differently that I don't normally do is I went tight end first. And when I did that, I came back with Mahomes. I don't typically do that, but the team didn't look like terrible. The team looks okay, but it's going to be more of a team that's going to try to beat you with quantity as opposed to quality. Because outside of Aaron Jones and Mahomes, and I guess you can put Kelsey, but he's a tight end. Like, I don't have an elite player that I would be leaning on, but I should get more points out of my quarterback and my tight end than most teams each week. So it kind of evens itself out. I wanted to see where that would take us. But all in all, I wouldn't hate that team. I think it would be a fun team to mix and match. Look, there's something to be said for if you have like guys in stone, like in a month, especially like an 8-man league, which we're in a few of those, and you're always going to put, we'll just say like Tyreek Hill out there, but whoever that receiver is, and you're always going to put him in. There's something to be said for the fact that maybe you don't do your homework, and maybe you don't go in and say, hey man, that's not a very good matchup. I'm just sliding him in there because of his name. So teams that can have the depth can get you because they've been paying attention all year. Whereas the guy who's going, screw it, dude, I got Derrick Henry. What the hell I got to worry about? Then, he snaps his fibula in week 14. You're like, oh, shit.
We spend so much time talking about what happens in the event of an injury. And I mean, for stuff like that, like if you drafted McCaffrey last year, first overall, like, your season's over. Just try and have fun, or try and piece it together. The game is to just try and get into the playoffs, because once you get into the playoffs, anything's possible. I've told this story 100 times. Last year is the first time I ever won a fantasy football league. I won multiple basketball leagues, multiple baseball leagues. But last year was my first ever fantasy football win. But I've had seasons where I was like 13-3, and by far had the best team going into the playoffs. And you run into a bonesaw one week. It happens. It's happened to everybody if you've played fantasy long enough. So you kind of can't concern yourself with that sort of stuff.
Amen to that. But I do think sometimes it's not terrible to have the best tight end, to have the best quarterback, because those are two things you don't have to worry about. And I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot more depth in receiving and running backs than there are in tight ends and quarterbacks, because then you got like the top 3 or 4, and there's like, if you don't get one of the top 3 tight ends, top 4 tight ends, maybe you could argue this year top 5 tight ends with the rookie Pitts, dude, punt that, because there's not going to be a big damn difference between Higbee and Tunyon at the end of the season, right? I
can't tell you how many times I streamed Logan Thomas last year and he got me over 10 points. I mean, he wasn't a guy that was drafted high.
And I expect him to have a better year now that Fitzmagic is there, although he really likes receivers. He doesn't tight end it up, but he's still
doesn't usually know.
Having him over Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins immediately makes him a better option. Without a doubt. We're coming to the end. By the way, just a quick heads up. I'm not going to broadcast me talking or whatever. I'm gonna screen grab, and we will broadcast the Bobby Bowden viewing today. It's coming out live here at the top of the hour at 11 a.m. And we're gonna put it on YouTube until someone grabs it and says you can't do that. And I go, my bad. So if you
I had no idea.
If you want to watch it, I am going to put it up there as soon as this ends. We will just go into it. I'm not going to do some big over talk of it, and you're not going to hear me in the background go, "Oh, that was a funny story." No, I'm just going to let it be. And so, what is your walk off for the day, sir?
My walk off is everybody enjoy the baseball, lots of good baseball, and also lots of football. If preseason is your thing, and boy, we are so close to football season. I can smell it. It's almost here.
My walk off for the day is Bobby Bowden. They're doing the viewing in Tallahassee today. Then I believe Sanford tomorrow. They're going to take him there, and then they'll bury him either Sunday or early next week. But what an incredible man he was, an incredible coach he was. And I like what someone said. It was very, very simply said. Yesterday, I saw a tweet, a big Florida State fan. He said, remember, Noles fans, like how lucky we were to have him run our team. He said, remember, one thing they can't ever take away, Bobby was ours. He wasn't anybody else's. He was ours. And so that's something that we're always going to wear with the badge of honor. And I can't wait to see what they do for Bobby with Florida State football. Something's coming this year. They're going to put something on the jersey or the helmet or something. And I would think it's going to be a very emotional night. The first night of the season, which actually happens to be the night of our draft up in Nashville, but September 5th, they're at home against Notre Dame on national television. There's going to be something put together. All right, brother. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, we will see you Wednesday. Next week, we're going to do this one more Saturday. Steven will be with me. And then after that, we won't be back live until opening day, opening weekend of the NFL season on September 12th. I am going to put some stuff up on those Sundays to kind of get you ready for the draft. For Sean O'Toole, I'm Mac McGee. Y'all have a great one, and good luck if you got drafts today. I mean, unless of course you're at the one at 11 o'clock in Yahoo. I'm going in. Going against me, go screw yourself. We shall see you.